Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
What you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello, 2022. It is the KVJ After the Show podcast. What the heck is going on, everybody? Yeah.
Number 1 of 2022.
Yes.
Yeah, that is. Nice little break. It was good. Just the right amount of time. It was so good. Got to just kind of like chill out, hang out, do things, get caught up on other projects I want to do, watch things I wanted to do. No, Virginia took some trips. He went to New York, went to Orlando, had some fun there.
Now I'm broke.
Yeah, I bet. I was like, looking at it, like, I can't be cheap.
Oh, no, it was not cheap at all.
Can't be cheap.
I was so sad when Magnolia's boyfriend's mom canceled because, they were going to probably chip in for half of everything. Instead, I paid for everything.
Damn.
Oh, so that's like, what about food? Did he bring money for food, or did you?
I just paid for everything. Look, when my kid travels with other families, the parents always pick up the tab. And
Okay.
I look at it the same way. Like, if I'm taking 2 kids out to dinner, I'm not making kids pay. I will buy their dinner because I'm the grown-up.
I would be so weird. Ask, hey, can you throw me $9 for those chicken tenders?
Hey, kid, I don't see you reaching for your wallet.
Yeah.
No.
That would be, but there are some adults that would be, hey, kid, cough up that $9 for these tenders.
Not me.
Well, it's good. It's the right move.
Yeah, it can kind of get away from you.
And we had so many big plans. I mean, we did so much in the city. Mm-hmm. Like,
did everything you can do.
We gave this kid. So Magnolia's boyfriend kind of has a little bit of a tender tummy. And you know me, I like to eat exotic, crazy stuff. So
What's the problem? You get the shits?
we took his ass to Chinatown.
Oh, boy.
And I made him eat like dumplings and exotic
that's tough.
stuff. And you could tell he didn't want to eat it, but he was eating it just to be polite.
Yeah.
And he got back to the room and barfed.
He barfed? Oh, shit.
I felt
that's
so
tough.
bad because I overfed this kid. I was making him try everything, and he was just trying to be polite.
See, that's a tough thing because you guys are all in the same room. So
Well, we had a 2-room thing. So in one room,
did you have separate bathrooms, or were you all using the same bathroom?
We all use the same bathroom.
So that's what I'm saying. That's rough. I would be very sensitive to that, especially in high school. I couldn't imagine taking dumps in the same bathroom that my girlfriend's got to take dumps, and then I go in there and barf.
Well,
and
their
that's tough.
He didn't make it to the bathroom to barf. He barfed next to his bed on the rug.
Oh, man.
But you're right, though. If you're in
wow.
high school, you're trying to take a dump. You get the
Yeah.
mom in the room.
Right.
You have the brother.
Oh, that's
and your
tough.
girlfriend. That's tough.
It's a lot.
You got to take that act to the lobby.
You're right.
It's a lot of dumping
It's a lot of dumping.
in one spot.
Man. Yeah, that is. Okay, so he recovered and then enjoyed the rest of the trip?
Well, I stopped force feeding him after that. I was like, okay, I'm not going to make this kid eat 3 dinners. I made him eat 3 dinners.
There's nothing
We went to
worse.
3 different places.
Well, you have to eat something to be polite. Because you can be a dick, but then it kind of changes the mood of everything.
Right.
I've had to eat stuff where I did not want to eat it, and it sucks, man.
Because I was all jazzed up. I was so excited to be in Chinatown, trying all this exotic stuff and making them try exotic stuff. And,
Can't say exotic anymore.
oh, I can't?
I remember that topic we had.
Oh, that's right. Exotic
yeah, there
is
are some people
canceled.
the way you use it, yeah.
Well, to me, it is.
It is,
Chinatown
yeah.
is
Right.
it's wild. It's fun. There's like all kinds of meat just hanging from the ceilings in the rooms when you walk into places. And they do like crazy dim sum where there's a slaughtering of animals live at the
Oh, wow.
like meal. We didn't have any of that, but Chinatown is crazy exotic as far as I'm concerned.
Can you go and get some bat? If you want bat, make a delicious bat soup.
I think you could probably get anything,
A
Kevin.
bat taco.
Anything you want, you could probably find a place in Chinatown to get it. Wild, exotic stuff.
What's got the better restaurants in New York, Little Italy or Chinatown?
We did both. So, Jerry Soma hooked us up with his friend at the Umberto's Clam House, and we had this magnificent 7-course Italian meal right there in Little Italy.
The Clam House sounds a little dirty.
No, it wasn't dirty.
No, I'm saying dirty as in...
perverted.
Yeah, perverted, I should say. Not dirty. Perverted.
It was fabulous. I loved every minute of it. But I'm a big food person. Like, that makes me happy.
Right.
Going to places where I don't normally get to go and trying foods and reading about, like, what's the best places in New York to go. I did a ton of research ahead of time.
Okay.
So I literally had, like, 8 restaurants a day that I wanted to hit.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you are out of state or even out of area, you should not go to a chain restaurant.
No.
Or if you are going to go to a chain restaurant, go to one that's not in your area normally. Do something different when you're on the road.
Magnolia and her boyfriend, they both got Chick-fil-A gift cards for Christmas from his mama.
Okay.
And so when we were in the city, they were both like, oh, can we go to Chick-fil-A and use our gift cards? And at first I was like, no, you didn't come all this way to go to Chick-fil-A. We're not going to Chick-fil-A. But then eventually I, let
I'm going to make you barf right by your bed,
Okay,
whether you like it or not.
Shit's expensive, and you realize, oh, the mom's not coming. All right, go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get Chick-fil-A. It's cool.
And I'm going to give you explosive diarrhea so you can stink up the bathroom in front of your girlfriend.
Wait, your boyfriend or Rocco was throwing up? Mag's boyfriend or Rocco?
Mag's boyfriend.
Oh, that's doubly embarrassing. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Mag's boyfriend. Rocco didn't go with us.
Oh, okay.
It was just me, Magnolia, and her boyfriend. And the boyfriend's mom was supposed to come, but then she couldn't get her work schedule.
Such an awkward vacation.
I know. It was a little weird because they, probably wanted to do stuff without me, but they had to do stuff with me the whole time. And so it was weird.
Garrick in the chat room said the original Umberto's was great and an old mob hangout. That's where Joe Gatto was killed.
That's true. It's very, very true.
You know all the factoids because you were just up there.
I know all the behind the scenes. I'm not getting into it because I don't want to get snuffed out.
Yeah, wow, really?
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Dang.
All this talk of food's made me hungry.
New York looks so different right now. And I think, Kevin, you would really have enjoyed this trip just to see how all of these restaurants have transformed themselves post-COVID. So they all built like little patio seating, but it's like little houses basically in front of the restaurant. So you've got the little houses on the street, and then you've got the sidewalk, and then you've got the real restaurant. So to go into the real restaurant, you have to show your proof of vaccination. But if you don't have proof of vaccination, you can go in the little house and eat, and you still get like waiter service, waitress
Oh,
service.
really? Okay.
But all these different restaurants have created these different little hut houses with different decor, different colors, different plants, different lighting.
So
Different
trying to make the best of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating. Walking up and down Mulberry Street, which I'm sure you've done there in Little Italy, it's the main drag. All these restaurants now have little huts, and then you have all these different personalities from all these, hey, yo,
Yeah.
hey, yo.
Yeah.
Forget about
It was
Yeah,
really
that's what's great about New York is just the characters,
the characters.
the culture that's there.
Yes.
How long were you in New York for until you got mugged?
Like a day. It was very fast.
Under 24 hours.
I don't know if it was under 20. It was within the first week.
Wow.
So I don't remember the specifics, but it was pretty quick.
Well, you had all your rent money in your pocket.
Yeah, I hadn't yet laid down any money on an apartment. The money I was gonna, get to try to find a place to stay was that.
You had no idea who did it to you?
No.
What they do is they bump you accidentally, and then that's when it happens. So you got to be super aware of if the bump happens, that's when they're putting their hand in your pocket.
They had a tandem, and what they had done, it was during the New York Rangers had won the Stanley Cup, and so they have the Canyon of Heroes or whatever it's called.
It's a parade.
Yeah,
Bunch of people.
I'm down on the street working promotions for the radio station. And there was one guy on the left side of me that just kept like elbowing me in the side really hard. He's nudging me and pushing me, like trying to push me off the curb. And so I'm pushing back on this guy and I'm so distracted. On the right side, down my side pocket, it had a Velcro pocket, and a guy lifted the Velcro flap off the pocket, slid his hand all the way down the side of my leg, took my wallet out and refastened it, and then walked off. And just out of nowhere, the guy on the left side just started leaving me alone. I'm like, finally. And then as I'm walking away, I'm like,
wait a minute.
where the heck is my wallet?
You got double teamed.
I did,
Yeah, they have a whole racket going on there.
Yeah, they usually, a lot of times they'll do that. They do a distraction. I've noticed that in New Orleans, too. That happened one time where somebody was trying to get my buddy to play the guitar. And he's like, yeah, let me see the guitar. We're drunk. We're sitting on the curb. And as he did that, somebody took his camera.
That would be so. I don't know. I would be under 24 hours before I got mugged. I'd beat your record if I went to New York City.
It was a trial by fire because I'd grown up in a really small town. And so when I got there, I'd never been exposed to a big city. And I figured, okay, my first city experience, I want to be New York. And so I was just thrown into the fire. And you learn a lot fast.
You do.
Gotta grow up, kid.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
But it's so crazy because I went back to the block where I used to live because I lived in Hell's Kitchen. But this is like how many years ago now? This is like 95, 96.
Yeah.
The building that I lived in is no longer there, and that's weird. So basically 49th and 9th, or 49th between 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
The whole building is just gone. Mm-hmm. And now it's like a garage. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But it was an old, crappy building anyway. I mean, I'm surprised it
Yeah,
didn't fall when I lived there.
Yeah, I'd love to go back. I'd go back and see some of the old places and all that. I have so many great memories of New York. During the break, I was able to sit down with the guy that started the radio station I went to New York City to work for. His name's Scott Shannon, and he started the radio station that I wound up working for, Z100, in 1983.
Everybody in radio knows Scott Shannon.
Yeah,
that's like a legend.
Yeah, he's of the same. I would say he's like of the same level, like a Howard Stern or something like that in the radio world.
Totally.
Where Howard has more of the everybody knows that name, but yeah, if you're in radio, you definitely know Scott Shannon.
And if you were in New York, you knew Scott Shannon.
Oh yeah, and if you're still in New York, he's still number one.
Yeah.
In New York City and morning
Powerhouse.
radio. Yeah,
He's still doing it, huh?
He's still doing it and still number one.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's doing great there. So I got to sit down with him and just hear the stories. Like 2 hours flew by. I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I gotta go. It's 2 hours. I'm like,
no, don't leave.
How did you meet up with him?
A buddy of mine, Chet's friends with him, and he knows because he spends a lot of time down here.
I ran into Scott at Cafe Chardonnay like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I bum rushed him at his dinner and I was like, we love you so much.
Yeah.
And he knew who we were.
He listens to the show a lot. He was, and now that, I'm kind of connected with him, he'll text me, hey, I heard that was a great bit. So it's like when you get, Scott Shannon listening to your show and critiquing your stuff. To me, it's a full circle kind of moment.
You can die happy now.
Well, he impacted my life so much. I went to New York because of the station he started. The template that we use for the KVJ show is one that he created that I got from his producer when I worked for him.
Cool.
Were you nervous to sit down with him for that long? Because you admire him and you grew up listening to him and all that stuff. Were you nervous to hang out with him?
I think there's a little part of it where, you worry about the impression you leave, but there was just so much I wanted to hear from him. I said, look, just go in there as a fan as you are, and like I said, I didn't even scratch the surface. I had 2 hours with him, and I need about 22 more because of where we went. And when he ended it, we weren't even close to really the New York stories. We touched on, the radio station and my time there, and some of the people. We have some people that we know mutually.
Mutual friends.
Yeah, that we had worked through. But it started early from how he got into radio and how he got going in it. And then I didn't even realize this part of him. He said, yeah, and then I got out of radio early and I started to work for Casablanca Records. And to me, I'm like, well, I know Casablanca Records because that was the label that started up and had Kiss on it back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And so Scott Shannon worked with Kiss.
No way.
And he was telling me the story of working with Kiss, and he was part of them trying to get them on the radio, and that's why they had Scott working with them, because Scott Shannon knew top 40 radio. That was his thing. And they said, we need Kiss to get a big top 40 hit. We just had this live album. They're on the scene, and we got this new album coming out called Destroyer. And Paul and Gene love this song, Detroit Rock City. And we need to make it a hit. And Scott's listening. He said, that's not the hit. He said, the hit is this song called Beth. And they're like, well, the problem here, we got a couple problems with that. Beth is a song that was written about the president of Casablanca Records' wife, and they were getting divorced.
Oh.
And so the president of Casablanca Records is like, you're not using that bitch. It's like this, it's like the title song for this group that I really care about.
Who wrote it then? Do you know who wrote it?
I think Peter Criss did, but that was the name that they used. And I think Peter Criss used it kind of for his wife, but the name Beth came from the wife of Casablanca Records. They wanted another name, and they said, hey, let's go with Beth. And so that was a problem. And then apparently there was some ego stuff going on in the band because Gene wanted to rock. He said, we're Kiss, we rock. This is a ballad. I don't want that. I don't know that he necessarily liked Peter Criss already at the time.
Gotcha.
And he's like, we're not going to have this guy. Everybody's going to think that Kiss is led by this guy called Peter Criss, and it's not. It's Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. And so all Scott Shannon could get was for them to agree, because at the time they would send these small records called 45s to radio stations, and they would put the same song on both sides so that the DJ had no choice. They played the song the record label told you to play. Scott convinced them to put Detroit Rock City on one side, the song they wanted to be the hit, and Beth on the flip side. He said, just so, you know, if things don't work out, it's already there.
Right.
They start with Detroit Rock City. It doesn't take off and it tanks going top 40. And he said, flip it over. And a DJ did flip it over and play Beth, and it became a huge hit and thus caused all the problems in Kiss, and they fought forever.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, that's kind of interesting.
What a great story.
Yeah, so it was stuff like that I thought was just really fascinating. I was talking to Bird over the break, and thank you, because somebody had sent in all these great Foo Fighter documentaries. So I spent a little time, finally got to get caught up with that. And so I always love those behind the scenes stories of music and how things became a certain way.
Oh, it's the best.
Especially when there's a lot of drama, and you find really that so many groups have drama because you've got 3, 4, 5 people in a group. Most of them want to be creative, and someone doesn't like one idea, and there's so much ego that you have to kind of manage, and you kind of have to be humble and manage your ego to make it work. And it's kind of neat to see who's able to stick together and who just can't fucking keep it together either. They don't like each other.
So
Kiss
much
does not
drama,
like each
and
other.
it's really fascinating when you start getting those stories. So yeah, the documentaries I watch are all just really good.
I'm not even sure Paul and Gene like each other.
It's questionable. I think they're like brothers.
Yeah, I think
They
you're
realize
right.
they need each other, but I'm not sure that they love each other. So yeah, so some fascinating stuff. So didn't really even get into the Z100 story. Hopefully that'll happen at a later date. But yeah, he's one of those people that you could easily see making a documentary of his life.
Totally.
And then doing the recreation of where if he's telling the Kiss story, you would get Paul's version and Gene's version and all that coming together to tell the whole thing. And just even the creation of Z100 it's a legendary radio station. And he really started the Morning Zoo format, which in a sense we use, where you had multiple people. Before Scott Shannon, it was just typically one person on a radio show, and they would do voices, and they would be, hey, Uncle Fester's at the door. Hello. And that was how
Change
morning
your
radio
voice.
was. Yeah. And so he made it a little different, where you had people that would react.
Old school radio loved to do funny voices.
They did. Yeah. Yeah, and he had people on that. So for me, it was a lot of fun. That was one of the highlights of my
He
break.
could put together a whole Netflix series where Scott Shannon just explains everything from his beginnings to where he is now. It could be like a 7-part series.
I did drop the idea on him. I think there might be something happening. So hopefully one day we can, see something to see the whole stories of it. Because
totally see it on Netflix.
Yeah, because Z100 was a radio station. It was an elevator music radio station. And he came in there and they went from worst place to first place after he flipped the format and went Z100 and did all that stuff. And, of course, a lot of people doubted him. So it was cool. So that was a lot of fun. So it was a highlight for me. Let me see. We got lots of emails. Thank you very much. People would send in a lot of stuff for the holidays, what was happening for New Year's, even poems. Thank you, Jeff. He said, thank you all. Happy holidays to the KVJ show. Thank you for all you do to keep things interesting and bright. The KVJ show enlightens us with knowledge and insight. They make us laugh and think all through the night. Can't wait till the new year as new knowledge will be in sight.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to make you smarter, but hopefully we'll make you laugh a little bit.
That's right.
Fuck you. You're not funny.
Knowledge, not so much. Fart jokes, okay, I got a few of those.
Got an email here from Doug. He said, according to Sports Illustrated, who had Tom Brady on the cover this week, they lost to the Saints, maybe the old SI cover curse. It was reported by Pittsburgh's WTAE News that a fan illicitly spread the ashes of a loved one at Heinz Field during their game with Denver. Unfortunately, the wind blew right at that moment, and a lot of the ashes ended up in other fans' food. The ashes are not toxic, just a little inconvenient, but that's typically why they don't do that. So that was the story.
How bummed out are you if you eat someone's ashes?
I'm pretty pissed.
How long does it take you to kind of get back to normal?
Well, I'd just say to the person, check the fucking wind. Come on. You don't throw the ashes unless you know it's a super, super calm day.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of wind whatsoever, you can't throw the ashes, dumbass.
Are you guys doing anything weird with your ashes?
I'm not getting burned. I'm getting buried.
You're definitely going buried.
Yes, I want a casket. I want it to look pretty. I want there to be flowers on it. I want there to be like gold handles. I want it to be mahogany colored. I want there to be hot pallbearers. Don't get no ugly people.
So you're even a pain in the ass after fucking life. You're gonna be a diva even when you're dead. Are you all in on burial, Kev?
No, I think now I'm going to do the burn.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It's just, taking up less space and, who cares? I don't
Look at the two of you, Burn Brothers.
Yeah, Burn Brothers.
Yeah, I was over at my sister's house seeing the ash. It is weird when you see both my sets of Mom and Ann and go, man, there's a body in there.
Yeah,
And
that's weird.
It is weird.
It's fucking weird.
If you really break
No,
it down, if you overthink it.
I would like to get one of those above ground little crypts where they put me in there and then everybody else who dies after me goes in there too. So if I die before Panda, when he dies, he would go in there. And then eventually Mags and Rocco would go in there. So it's like all of us together.
You have so many details about your funeral. Do you have to go 100% nail every one of them for your soul not to rest?
Look, I will tell you this. I learned from the best. My stepmother passed away in the summer, and she planned every frickin' minute detail of everything of her funeral and of her memorial service and of her wake and the procession, and it was done impeccably perfect. And I was like, that bitch did it right.
Okay.
'Cause she did everything. She did the pre-planning where none of the family had to make any decisions.
Right.
It was all taken care of
That's
by
good.
her, for her, and her way. And that's really a great gift you can give the family, because when they're mourning and they're sad, they shouldn't be picking out caskets
Yeah,
and
I
all
agree.
that.
That's why.
That's a lot.
To me, just keep it simple. It's all good.
I mean, not
we don't need
everyone's
anything.
a fucking diva like Virginia.
Well, sorry. Hashtag diva and death.
So
Death diva.
the only thing I'm wondering with your crypt idea, you go and you buy a place for you and Panda and Mags and Rocco. What happens as life goes on, though, and Rocco gets married and has his own family and his own kids?
Well, he can put them in there too.
But what if the wife has got a different?
What if her family has their
yeah.
own crypt?
Well, if that bitch doesn't want to go in my crypt, she don't have to. But Rocco is going in my crypt.
What if he wants to be with his family?
No, he's coming with me.
Yeah, you're insane.
I mean, wow. What pressure that is.
I was saying there's so much pressure.
You imagine that fight, be like, no, my mom really wants me buried with her. And the wife's like, what?
You know what my stepmom did? She bought her place where she's buried, but she bought one right next to her too for my dad, and his name's already on it.
Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah.
His name's already on it, but it just, how it says the year you were born and the year you died?
Yeah.
His just has the year he was born. But he knows when he dies, that's where he's going. That's what I'm going to do for Rocco. You know where you're going.
Okay. That'd be an interesting fight in the future.
If his new wife has a problem with it, I will haunt her ass.
People are getting anxious about the death talk. Pussies.
Look, it is the one thing that you can be certain you'll have to go through.
That is one thing we all got in common.
We do, all of us. And I think the more you talk about it and figure out how you want it done, that's the only way to make sure it gets done the way you want it.
Okay, all right.
I just
got it all figured out.
I just like exposing Virginia for being a diva even in death.
All the way to the grave. There was a lot of football action over the break as well. Had a good time. Started off with the Boca Bowl. Went and checked that out. That was a very fun, exciting game. A lot of good NFL action that had happened. My Buckeyes had a bowl game. It didn't start off well, but they wound up winning.
Okay, good.
Thankfully. They were playing University of Utah, the Utah Utes, in the Rose Bowl. And somebody noticed watching the game that the quarterback for Utah looks a lot like Denny's did when he had longer hair. The one there on the right is the Utah Utes quarterback, and then there's Denny's.
If you told me that he was related to Denny's, I'd be like, all right, I can see that.
That's Denny's cousin.
Yeah. So there you go.
Lenny.
Lenny's.
Thank you, Chase, for sending that in. I also got an email from Eric here, wondering if Bird watched the Clone Wars cartoon by Star Wars. I know you were watching was it Boba Fett? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said it seems like a kid show on the surface, but it becomes very dark. And I've heard that it is a great show.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm. You watched the Clone Wars cartoon too, or no?
There's parts I should say that I love. I like anytime there's any kind of old school bounty hunter talk, Virginia, like a Bosk.
Mm-hmm.
Is this thing on?
Bosk?
Hello? He's a bounty hunter. No one gives a fuck.
Oh, and KJ said too, you better talk about UCF curb stomping the Gators. UF. Yeah, that was an interesting bowl game as well. You had that on in your front yard, right?
I did. We had that on the big screen, and there was quite a few people there that were cheering for the Gators, and I think they were kind of stunned.
Yeah, they were. They've got a new coach coming in. They had fired their coach this year. They've got a new coach. The Miami Hurricanes have a new coach as well. So I think both those programs are excited for what's coming. But yeah, at the end of this year. In fact, the Miami Hurricanes didn't even play their bowl game. They got that COVID. And they bailed out. There were a couple teams that didn't play because of the COVID. Texas A&M didn't play. The Miami Hurricanes didn't play. So they said, nah, we're good. They bailed on it.
I get it. I mean, it's a bowl game. What does it mean?
It depends. Yeah, that's a debatable long sports topic, Virginia. That if I had a sports show, I would take it on.
Well, luckily, you got rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Dead weight.
Stephanie had sent an email, said, has anybody watched the Woody Mia documentary on HBO Max, Woody Allen? I could not believe it. How is Woody Allen not in jail? I don't know how he was not canceled after molesting his daughter. Then he married his stepdaughter and was messing around with her when she was underage. Am I delusional here?
No, you're not delusional. Woody Allen is a disgusting pig.
There's a lot of these older stories you go, I can't believe that shit was going down and no one did anything about it.
They didn't do anything because he was a powerful Hollywood guy, writer, director, actor. He was intimidating and nobody had the balls to punish him.
There's people that still defend Roman Polanski. I mean, Roman Polanski, if you see that cat in interviews, he comes off like he's the victim.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Watch old Roman Polanski interviews.
You had that
crazy.
circle, and then the Harvey Weinstein stuff seems to be where it finally changed.
Right.
Where a
The
Hollywood
tide.
titan, for all the things that they had done, finally had to reckon with it.
They say, anytime anything, we're talking about now, 2022, if something goes on a set, it's going to be called out pretty quick now.
Good. That's the way it should have always been.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, he lives in New York City. I think he's kind of an under the radar kind of guy. And he's probably smart.
He's
to
still
do that.
with Sun Yi.
Yeah.
They're still together.
Yeah, and I guess that's why.
That's
When you
fucking
look at her
weird.
in the eyes, she's like, "Mrr."
Yeah,
She just looks like someone who's been held hostage for 20 years.
right.
It's a bizarre story.
It's a bizarre story.
Yeah, it is.
If you have a girl who lives in your house and she is your stepdaughter for all intents and purposes, and she's a little girl, and then you turn around and marry her in the future, you're fucking gross.
Yeah, it's twisted.
It's twisted.
There's no way you can do it today.
You
get away
can't
with
explain your way out of that. You're repulsive.
There's another documentary that's coming up. I'm excited to see. It is Lifetime is doing a documentary on Janet Jackson, talking about some of those musical documentaries.
Is this the one where they're coming for Justin Timberlake?
It sounds like it's going to be part of it.
They're coming for
Control.
Timberlake. They're coming for him.
Timberlake is probably shaking in his boots.
They probably have a plan already set in place for when this documentary drops. This is the one if they're going after Timberlake. I'm not sure if it is or not.
I'm not sure either, but he better be nervous.
It seems like they really want him to do more to share the blame for the whole Nipplegate moment that happened, but that was about 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I guess they're just saying that Janet Jackson had to bear the brunt of the burden of that for her career. Maybe that's the point that they'll make, is that moment really impacted negatively Janet Jackson's career while Justin Timberlake went on and
soared.
Yeah.
He had some amazing hits.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what all the details are about, but all I do know is that Twitter's coming for you, Timberlake.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the tone is and then how he responds and where it goes. It's called Janet. It's a 2-night event, Friday, January 28th, 8 p.m. on Lifetime and A&E. And it coincides with the 40th anniversary of Janet's 1982 self-titled debut album.
You said it's Lifetime involved with it?
Yeah,
it's
Lifetime and A&E.
Fuck Timberlake. They hate men.
Timberlake, you're done.
You're done. Oh, my God.
You're about to get canceled, bitch.
Oh, you got Lifetime coming for your ass? Oh, shit.
They're going to eat you alive.
2022 is going to suck for him, huh?
It's going to suck bad.
Oh, yeah.
He's already started to do counter programming on his socials. Oh, he looks like such a family man.
Oh,
so in love with his wife.
Yeah.
If you think
Such a
Timberlake's
good
people
dad.
aren't ready for this, you're crazy.
They've already started the combat. They have.
That sucks for him, huh?
It does suck, but, well, sorry, not sorry.
Damn, Lifetime. I had the fucking mafia after me.
Live with integrity. You know, if you're on stage with Janet and her nipple comes out and you guys planned that, take half the blame. Step up and say, you know what? I'm not letting her fall on the sword by herself.
I don't know enough of the details for me to give any kind of opinion on all that. All
Yeah.
I know is they're coming for you. That's all I know. I didn't even see it happen. I remember it was right before I got on to the show, the KVJ show.
We were at a listener's house.
Yeah, and
because
I-
we had given them a big TV and a party for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we were in their house, and everybody was like, what?
We were sitting, my face was about a foot away from the TV. And that's why I'm like,
Did you say nipple?
I look around, I'm like, did I just see her nipple? Like, did everybody else see that? And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, wow, okay. At the moment, that was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
And then, you got Miley on New Year's Eve doing everything she can to make you see her nipple. So, yeah, it's just a different era. Let me see. Got a nice email here from Shannon. She said, the KVJ show saved my life. I had a right to tell you about how the KVJ show saved my life last night. I had a long drive, and as usual, I put on replays of the regular show or the After the Show podcast to keep me company. I just got on the highway, and for some reason, my phone glitched and stopped playing it. That's probably our bad app. I kept trying to press play and nothing happened as it was at night and I was on the highway. I didn't want to miss anything, so I pulled over to the shoulder to restart the app. As soon as I did, 2 cars that were behind me drove past, lost control, and crashed right in front of me.
Wow.
If it weren't for the fact that I pulled over to listen to my beloved show, I would have been in that crash.
Damn.
Damn.
It shook me to my core, and thankfully the drivers were okay, but I had to write in to tell you guys thanks. It wasn't for my love of the show and obsession with getting all the details of any stories you were telling, I would have kept driving and been in that wreck.
Wow.
It is always weird when those things kind of happen like that.
A matter of seconds is life-changing.
That happened with
Yeah.
me and Denny's with a pizza box. He was driving, and the pizza box was on the dashboard, and the way the pizza box fell, or how it moved as he was turning, caught my eye to this girl that was trying to cross the street that Denny's didn't see. And I go, Denny's, look out! He hit the brake, and the girl, if I didn't say anything, Denny's would have hit this girl.
So pizza saved her life.
Pizza really did save her life. If I didn't see
Damn.
that pizza move, I would not have seen that girl.
Damn.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah. He says, it just goes to show you never know when the worst can happen and how the littlest deviation in your routine can change your whole day and possibly life.
So true.
I've been thinking about that shit since I was a kid. If I go left instead of right,
Yep.
does that make...
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, does that change my life and the path it was going on?
Let you know the importance of your decisions.
And
you,
if
you
something,
may think it doesn't mean anything.
I think about this all the time. If something falls in your lap unexpectedly that makes you like late or makes you a little frazzled and have to go right instead of left or whatever, you can either get mad and look at it as an inconvenience, or you can say, oh, it's my angels watching out for me, because if I would have been on time, I would have been in a car wreck. Or if I would have turned left instead of right, I might have been in a car wreck.
It just happened to me the other day where I caught a train and there was a chance I could have gotten through, but I wanted to be extra safe, so I decided to stay back. And if I would have, those little decisions, do they really mean a fucking thing, or is it just dumb shit?
Is it your guardian angels working hard to protect you?
Well, you can't say that doesn't stop other chain of events from happening by a train stopping you, because you're not going to meet and run into the same people you would meet if it's just odd to me.
99% of the decisions you make, I don't think greatly change your life, but you never know when it's that one decision that will.
You think it's that it's that insignificant to where?
Yeah, because I think of all the decisions that I make in the course of a day, and I'll tell you, they're not really changing things, but I've made decisions to go to events or this or that where I've met somebody that, like meeting my wife or somebody like that. That is a story that if I had just said, you know what, I'm going to prep, stay home today, my life would be radically different because I never would have met my wife.
And I'm not saying every one of those things are matters of the heart decisions, but they do affect something on some level, no? Whether it's as small as making a left decides whether you're going to get pizza or a cheeseburger that day. It does have some significance on what you're doing, I think.
Totally.
Even
In
if
that
it's
moment.
small.
Yeah, but I think there are a lot of insignificant decisions where it doesn't have any effect.
I hear you.
Yeah. Am I going to eat this pickle or not? That's not going to have any massive repercussions on your life.
But does it?
Unless you choke on it and die.
But does it also? But it does change a timeline there. I don't know. It's
How are
fucking-
you eating this pickle?
Why? Well, go after him hard, Virginia.
You're not supposed to deep throat it. You have to actually bite and chew.
He likes to take his time.
Kevin likes to deep throat pickles.
Yeah, I do. Come here, Pickles. I want to thank you for doing all you do, being the amazing show that all KVJ Nation is obsessed with, and for possibly saving my life. Shannon sent that in. Thank you, Shannon.
That makes us feel good. I'm glad we could be a part of keeping you out of a wreck. That's your guardian angels, too.
Yeah.
But then someone's going to counter with, well, where was the guardian angel when my loved one didn't make it? Or, you know what I'm saying?
It was their time.
That's what I'm saying. These guardian angels are quite specific with who they want to
They
fucking
are.
help.
It is very specific.
And Steve sent this in as a thought for the day consideration, but I think we're going to have to do this on after the show. He said, when I was in my early 30s, I was having a drink at a bar next to a train station waiting for my train to Glenview, Illinois for the annual German Fest. It's probably about 11 a.m., and an old Native American man on the stool next to me had the happiest look I'd ever seen. He was just drinking his beer, and he was looking around the bar completely kind of in the moment and just enjoying himself. After my second beer, I had to ask, so I told him, you look like you've really got it all figured out. He just clinked my glass and ordered a shot of tequila. He talked for a little while about what he'd loved in his life, his wife, his kids, some donkey that he had.
Aww.
And as we got close to my train coming, he asked if he could give me some life advice. I said, I'd appreciate it. Well, the old man looked at me straight in the eye and he said, smoke pot, lick twat, and smile a lot. True wisdom.
That guy's good.
That's good. And there you go. Something to live your life by. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your emails. The mail at kvjshow.com. It's good to be back for big old 2022.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.